Good morning. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. Not showing anything off. I just had to tell you my experience. Now, on Sunday, I went to a very good friend's birthday with whom I'd lost touch after, God Almighty, 30 years plus. Anyway, one of the guests there, we were chatting, and I was talking about it was a Turkish restaurant. And you know that there's a great way to tell fortunes, if you believe in that, and of course I do, that when you have Turkish coffee, it's very thick, so you get to the bottom, but you don't drink the bottom, where you get all the resin sort of in your mouth. So what happens is that, well, you turn it over, and then someone looks at it's like reading tea leaves, the same sort of thing, and tells you fortune. And then we got chatty. She says, "Oh, do you believe in that?" I said, "Oh, I sure do. I've had my own experiences." And then she said, "Okay, and we started going on. Well, I'll try to make it short, but I don't know if I'll succeed. Anyway, Romany gypsies. Okay, there's good, there's bad, yes. And when you're walking down the street, they'll come up and they'll try to, sell you the little sprigs of rosemary and lavender. Well, I have met 4 in my lifetime. Now, I have, the first one was when I was 14 in Scotland. And, we were at a fair, and of course, there's a fortune-telling section. And I love those. So, yeah, I obviously did go and have a look. So I went in there. And first of all, as soon as I went in, I said, "How much?" She said, No. I'm not charging you anything. He says, "There's a strange aura about you. No, just sit down, you know, and I'm going to tell you some things that you need to know and that you might find, I don't know, shocking or unbelievable." Anyway, so I'm like, 14, and I'm thinking I'm it. So I sat down. She was a nice, oldish lady, really nice. Anyway, I felt comfortable. And she started telling me my fortune, bits and pieces, but what I never could forget was that she said that time would pass and I'd have a very interesting life, and I did, but that I would get married 3 times. Okay, one of the husbands only would be sort of blondish, with the blue, greeny sort of eyes. Okay, I would have 3 children. And of course, you're thinking, oh, it's nonsense. But she said other things that, looking back to then, I mean, I was 14 then, I'm 70 now, and everything she said is actually has come true. And the last part is coming true. So I've always believed. Anyway, that was the first time. The second time, I was in, sort of older teens, and I was back in London from Scotland. And I was, where was I? Yeah, I was working in the King's Road. So I was about 18 at the time. And, when the hot pants and, and good makeup, great music. And I was a manager of a boutique in the King's Road. And I was stopped in the street by a gypsy. And that's, again, I never say no, because it's their culture, okay? So why knock it? So I've never, ever been rude or sort of sent one away, in my life. So I did then. I got out my purse. I was on my way to work from lunch. So I got out my purse. She says, "No, my dear, please, I don't want your money. You have an aura that made me come up to you. It doesn't happen often, but I don't want anything from you. I want you to take this little bunch And she gave me the flowers. And I said, okay, not skeptical, but also I thought it was a bit strange. But, a part of me always believes in something, spiritual or psychic, whatever. And I did. So I took it. And she said, my dear, just let me hold your hand. She goes, some wonderful things will happen in your lifetime, but you're going to go through some ups and downs, some very sad times. But just remember my words. You are going to have a long and happy life, and you will remember these words. Okay, other bits and pieces, but I couldn't remember because I was walking on the street. Okay, then anyway, I got to the boutique and I went inside and went out of my head. I told my staff in there, guess what, girls, blah blah. Then the third time, I was obviously I'd spent 30 years in retail management, so I was then overseeing various other boutiques and stores, and I happened to be in Oxford Street, and I was walking, going up, towards sort of Regent Street and then and Bond Street, and same thing there. A gypsy again stopped me, and she said, "Please don't be scared." I said, "No, I'm not." Was just nice as hi. I said, "I don't know if I've got any change." She goes, "No, no, no." I said, "I don't want anything. I want to give you something. And I hope that you will remember it as the years will go by, because time, I can't put a time on anything that I'm going to be, say to you. But again, with the aura thing, I wish I could see it." So she said, there's the aura, and I just feel that you're a very spiritual person. And I just wanted to say to you, no matter what you go through in life, remember, good things will happen to you. Can't tell you when, can't tell you where, but they will. And remember, no matter how many tears, you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or something in that vein. That was the third one. Okay, fourth one, again, same company, years have gone by, and I'm now in the Slough branch, in the Queensmead Centre of the, it was a Burton Group, it was Evans this time. And I was in my office doing the rota, because it was the end of the week, doing the rota and then getting ready to sort of catch up for the evening. And my deputy comes running into me. She goes, Sin, you've got to come out because I can't get rid of this woman. I said, "What do you mean? You're not supposed to get rid of women. We need our customers." And she says, "No, she's a gypsy. She's a gypsy. It's bad. People are scared of gypsies." I said, "Don't be silly." So anyway, and she said she wouldn't leave unless she spoke to you. She didn't ask for you. She just said, "I need to speak to your manager." And so I went out. And I smiled at her. I said, "Hi, what can I do to help you?" And she says, "I need to speak to you. Please don't be afraid, but I need to speak to you in private." I said, "That's fine." I said, "Unfortunately, we're not allowed to buy anything, from vendors." She goes, "No, no, 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 my lovey." She said, "I'm not selling anything to you. I want to tell you something that you need to know." So I took her into my office. We sat down. I said, "Okay, but I don't have very long. But of course, I listened. I've always been very interested." So she started going back to when I was a child. I mean, a real child. She told me the fact that I had left my parents and they'd sent me to live with my aunt in Scotland. I was 6. She told me that I went through something very traumatic when I was 6, which I did, and I couldn't tell anyone about it until I was older. But yeah, anyway, that's not what I'm going to tell you about. But she told me about that traumatic event, and of course, as we do, sometimes the things that have happened to us in the past. We try to bury them. So, having it flung in your face. So I started crying. Um, it wasn't something I cared to remember, but anyway, it just proved to me that there was no way she could know because I told no one. No one. It was deep rooted inside my head. And that, of course, made me cry and made me, sit up and listen. Again, she had to hold my hand and she looked at my hand and she got a long lifeline and the marriage line. He says, but you're going to be married 3 times. Another one with the 3 marriages. I thought, as if one isn't enough. And then she kept on telling me about things that had happened to me. She says, enough of the past because you're here today and you are a survivor. And then she mentioned other things that couldn't possibly, she couldn't have known them. And that's what brought to mind my first one that told me about the marriages, the children, whatever. And of course, that time I'd already had my first marriage. And yes, I did have a beautiful baby boy, but unfortunately he passed at 3 months old. But that was my first child. Years moved on. It's a very traumatic time. Annulment. Can't go into the details. I know you're married, you don't get an annulment because, being Catholic. But yeah, special conditions. Then time passed and I was trying to think how old I was then. Oh my gosh, yeah. Second husband. I was in my 20s. I was 23. Yep, 23. Um, Second husband, and he was a fair-haired one. Beautiful greeny eyes. And again, not the most pleasant. Good times and bad times, like we all go through in our marriages. Some we can salvage, and some, for our own livelihood, we can't. But yes, of course, I had 2 beautiful children. My firstborn was a girl, and my second was a boy. And I loved my daughter because, it's like having a best friend as she's growing up. My son, I loved also so much because it was not a replacement. You can never replace a child, but it made me feel complete. And then, so I had the girl and I had the boy. Okay. And she told me about that. And then, of course, years again passed. Like I said, first one at 14, I'm now 70. And I was married, my second husband, for 23 years. So just figure the time span, okay? Present day, right? Divorced, married for 23, divorced for like another 23, 24. And then, bang, few relationships in between, as one does. My daughter persuades me to go on a dating site. Yeah, dating site. So I did. And you get a load of idiots. Oh my God. You put down your age and please, no toy boys. You're not going to get a rich mama or anything like that. So just move on. That's my age preference, what I like, what I don't like. Take a hike, basically. And then just as I'm about to cancel everything because I'd had enough, you can only laugh and joke so much. And yeah, it was good fun until the little bit of perverseness started coming in, and I'm not into that at all. So I'm about to stop, and then I get a chinkle on the computer, like someone's winked at you. Okay, curiosity, always got the better of this cat. So I looked, and so I sort of winked back, as you do. He was quite nice, actually. It was, I'd given up hope. And then I see what to me was exactly what I was looking for, you know. He was Dutch, Dutch Caribbean from the Dutch Antilles. But obviously he was from Amsterdam, and he speaks 5 or 6 languages. But he was great, tall, dark, ruggedly handsome. Not your pretty boy style. And so we chatted for a while, because you should never go out immediately. And then, after I think there's a few weeks of just the chatting, he said, please, can we speak on the phone? And I was really curious, because I thought, he speaks all these languages, and I wonder what, he sounds like. So I did. And oh my God, I fell in love with his voice. Very, very deep, like a Barry White type of thing. But it was the accent. I couldn't tell it was like a French, American, a Spanish, I don't know, but it was fantastic. And we chatted and we talked, and it was like we'd known each other forever. So a couple of months went by, and then he said, okay, enough's enough, because after this, we need to talk if you want to, because I'm going to sign off the line. I said, well, I was going to anyway. So anyhow, cut a long story a little bit shorter. We met up for dinner in Kingston on when was it? I think it was the 23rd of February, right? 9 years ago. And he's standing there, and I'm, driving up, and see him. I get out, got my long green coat. I love long coats. Anyhow, so I'm coming up, and he goes to shake my hand, and I say, I'm Italian, sorry, I don't do the shaking hands, but it's a kiss on each cheek. And so we went in, and we're smiling and laughing even before we get into the restaurant. Now we went into the restaurant at 7:30, and we did not come out until midnight. The waiters, bless them, were waiting. They put up the chairs, and we're still laughing and joking, having our meal, which was amazing. And I never ever knew that time could go by so quickly, and yet it was a lengthy time. So there is my future third husband. We got engaged New Year's Eve last year, and we're going to get married this year, the end of the year. So my Romany Gypsy was 100% accurate. Yeah, awful times. I have lived an extraordinarily exciting life for a bit of an old fart that I am. Okay, I'm not, well, I was a bit wild in my younger days, but not now. I'm a classic lady. Okay, but yeah, I did. So I can't ever regret anything. Okay, even the bad points now all seem to be something to tell a story about. But I'm going to be married this year. I'm the happiest woman on earth. I never thought. I met him just before my 60th birthday. And like I said, I was 70 last November. I'm a Scorpio. And this year, we're going to get married. And I'm just so amazed. So please, if ever a gypsy stops you in the street, don't fob them off, okay? Because they're not bad. Yes, they do that for a living, but also they're not thieves, okay? They are real. I mean, like I said, there's good and there's bad. There's scammers in every walk of life. But the ones I've met, all 4 of them, throughout my lifetime, were the sweetest, kindest, spookiest. Because I thought, wow, how much do I believe this? But as the years passed, and I remembered things, it was amazing. The people I've met, the proposals I've had, the letdowns I've had, and now the final nail on my bucket list. I finally met my soulmate on a dating line, so nothing wrong with that. And my daughter loves them, my grandchildren also. My son, at first, didn't quite like him, but then they got on really well. Unfortunately, my son decided for some reason that he didn't want to be part of my life anymore. But that's okay, because your kids do what they want when they're older, but you don't never stop being a mother. So my heart and my door are always there. But this is the end of the story. If you meet a gypsy, all right, don't fob them off. 50p, whatever it is, if they take it, give it. And you might get a heck of a lot more in return. So I really hope you enjoyed this. My God, I haven't told this story. This is the second time. First time was Sunday, and now it's the second time with you guys. So I hope you find it interesting and not too long. I'm really sorry. It's when I get, yapping, I find it hard to stop. Okay, so lovely talking to you all. And again, bye for now. Till next time. Bye bye.